friends. In this video you will learn how to become a better speaker and also why it is important to become a better speaker. It's not a difficult process, and like all others you can also learn better speaking skills by just following simple steps discussed in this audio. You will learn how you can become a better speaker in just a few months. The process is simple and easy to do, which means you will be able to speak to public and meet people with ease. The fundamental question is, are you ready to increase your income? Are you ready to achieve the success you desire? Are you ready to overcome your fears and achieve your goals? Are you prepared to face the people in front publicly? If your answer to above question is yes, then this video will help you to become a better speaker and also will inform you of the benefits of better speaking skill. As research results indicates, 85% contribution to a person's financial success is due to his better speaking skills, communication skills, and only 15% due to his technical or educational skills. The better speaking skill or public speaking skill is one of the most important skills to lead a team. But when it comes to speaking in front of large crowds, many people are giving up because they don't know what are the qualities of an effective speaker or better speaker. In this video you will learn how to master public speaking in just few steps that will help you learn how to speak effectively in front of large crowds. Public speaking or better speaking skill is the only way to get your message across to the world. This is a step-by-step guide on how to become a great public speaker in short period of time. This audiobook is a part of audiobook series on personal development, self-development. The text in this book is from book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This book is publicly available on the internet. The audiobook has been shared as an effort to educate people and emphasize on the importance of public speaking in their success. This video is the introduction of book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This grandfather of all people skills books was first published in 1937. It was an overnight hit, eventually selling 15 million copies. How to Win Friends and Influence People is just as useful today as it was when it was first published, because Dale Carnegie had an understanding of human nature that will never be outdated. Financial success, Carnegie believed, is due 15% to professional knowledge and 85% to the ability to express ideas, to assume leadership, and to arouse enthusiasm among people. Carnegie says you can make someone want to do what you want them to by seeing the situation from the other person's point of view and arousing in the other person an eager want. You learn how to make people like you, win people over to your way of thinking, and change people without causing offense or arousing resentment. For instance, let the other person feel that the idea is his or hers, and talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Carnegie illustrates his points with anecdotes of historical figures, leaders of the business world, and everyday folks. This book is all about building relationships. With good relationships, personal and business success are easy. 8 things this book will help you achieve. 1. Get out of a mental rut. Think new thoughts, acquire new visions, discover new ambitions. 2. Make friends quickly and easily. 3. Increase your popularity. 4. Win people to your way of thinking. 5. Increase your influence, your prestige, your ability to get things done. 6. Handle complaints, avoid arguments, keep your human contacts smooth and pleasant. 7. Become a better speaker, a more entertaining conversationalist. 8. Arouse enthusiasm among your associates. This book has done all these things for more than 15 million readers in 36 languages. A Shortcut to Distinction, a biographical sketch of Dale Carnegie by Lowell Thomas. It was a cold January night in 1935, but the weather couldn't keep them away. 2,500 men and women thronged into the grand ballroom of the Hotel Pennsylvania in New York. Every available seat was filled by 7:30. At 8 o'clock, the eager crowd was still pouring in. The spacious balcony was soon jammed. Presently even standing space was at a premium, and hundreds of people, tired after navigating a day in business, stood up for an hour and a half that night to witness what A fashion show? A 6-day bicycle race or a personal appearance by Clark Gable? No. These people had been lured there by a newspaper ad. 2 evenings previously, they had seen this full-page announcement in the New York Sun staring them in the face. Learn to speak effectively. Prepare for leadership. Old stuff. Yes, but believe it or not, in the most sophisticated town on earth, during a depression with 20% of the population on relief, 2,500 people had left their homes and hustled to the hotel in response to that ad. The people who responded were of the upper economic strata: executives, employers and professionals. These men and women had come to hear the opening gun of an ultra-modern, ultra-practical course in effective speaking and influencing men in business, a course given by the Dale Carnegie Institute of Effective Speaking and Human Relations. Why were they there, these 2,500 businessmen and women? Because of a sudden hunger for more education because of the depression? Apparently not, for this same course had been playing to packed houses in New York City every season for the preceding 24 years. During that time, more than 15,000 business and professional people had been trained by Dale Carnegie. Even large, skeptical, conservative organizations such as the Westinghouse Electric Company, the McGraw-Hill Publishing Company, the Brooklyn Union Gas Company, the Brooklyn Chamber of Commerce, the American Institute of Electrical Engineers and the New York Telephone Company have had this training conducted in their own offices for the benefit of their members and executives. The fact that these people, 10 or 20 years after leaving grade school, high school or college, come and take this training is a glaring commentary on the shocking deficiencies of our educational system. What do adults really want to study? That is an important question, and in order to answer it, the University of Chicago, the American Association for Adult Education, and the United YMCA Schools made a survey over a 2-year period. That survey revealed that the prime interest of adults is health. It also revealed that their second interest is in developing skill in human relationships. They want to learn the technique of getting along with and influencing other people. They don't want to become public speakers, and they don't want to listen to a lot of high-sounding talk about psychology. They want suggestions they can use immediately in business, in social contacts and in the home. So that was what adults wanted to study, was it? All right, said the people making the survey. Fine. If that is what they want, we'll give it to them. Looking around for a textbook, they discovered that no working manual had ever been written to help people solve their daily problems in human relationships. Here was a fine kettle of fish. For hundreds of years, learned volumes had been written on Greek and Latin and higher mathematics, topics about which the average adult doesn't give two hoots. But on the one subject on which he has a thirst for knowledge, a veritable passion for guidance and help, nothing. This explained the presence of 2,500 eager adults crowding into the grand ballroom of the Hotel Pennsylvania in response to a newspaper advertisement. Here, apparently, at last was the thing for which they had long been seeking. Back in high school and college, they had pored over books, believing that knowledge alone was the open sesame to financial and professional rewards. But a few years in the rough and tumble of business and professional life had brought sharp disillusionment. They had seen some of the most important business successes won by men who possessed, in addition to their knowledge, the ability to talk well, to win people to their way of thinking, and to sell themselves and their ideas. They soon discovered that if one aspired to wear the captain's cap and navigate the ship of business, personality and the ability to talk are more important than a knowledge of Latin verbs or a sheepskin from Harvard. The advertisement in the New York Sun promised that the meeting would be highly entertaining. It was. 18 people who had taken the course were marshaled in front of the loudspeaker, and 15 of them were given precisely 75 seconds each to tell his or her story. Only 75 seconds of talk, then bang went the gavel, and the chairman shouted, "Time! Next speaker." The affair moved with the speed of a herd of buffalo thundering across the plains. Spectators stood for an hour and a half to watch the performance. The speakers were a cross-section of life, several sales representatives, a chain store executive, a baker, the president of a trade association, 2 bankers, an insurance agent, an accountant, a dentist, an architect, a druggist who had come from Indianapolis to New York to take the course, a lawyer who had come from Havana in order to prepare himself to give one important 3-minute speech. The first speaker bore the Gaelic name Patrick J. O'Hare. Born in Ireland, he attended school for only 4 years, drifted to America, worked as a mechanic, then as a chauffeur. Now, however, he was 40, he had a growing family and needed more money, so he tried selling trucks. Suffering from an inferiority complex that, as he put it, was eating his heart out, he had to walk up and down in front of an office half a dozen times before he could summon up enough courage to open the door. He was so discouraged as a salesman that he was thinking of going back to working with his hands in a machine shop. When one day he received a letter inviting him to an organization meeting of the Dale Carnegie course in effective speaking. He didn't want to attend. He feared he would have to associate with a lot of college graduates, that he would be out of place. His despairing wife insisted that he go, saying, "It may do you some good, Pat. God knows you need it." He went down to the place where the meeting was to be held and stood on the sidewalk for 5 minutes before he could generate enough self-confidence to enter the room. The first few times he tried to speak in front of the others, he was dizzy with fear. But as the weeks drifted by, he lost all fear of audiences and soon found that he loved to talk. The bigger the crowd, the better. And he also lost his fear of individuals and of his superiors. He presented his ideas to them, and soon he had been advanced into the sales department. He had become a valued and much liked member of his company. This night, in the Hotel Pennsylvania, Patrick O'Hare stood in front of 2,500 people and told a gay, rollicking story of his achievements. Wave after wave of laughter swept over the audience. Few professional speakers could have equaled his performance. The next speaker, Godfrey Meyer, was a grey-headed banker, the father of 11 children. The first time he had attempted to speak in class, he was literally struck dumb. His mind refused to function. His story is a vivid illustration of how leadership gravitates to the person who can talk. He worked on Wall Street, and for 25 years he had been living in Clifton, New Jersey. During that time, he had taken no active part in community affairs and knew perhaps 500 people. Shortly after he had enrolled in the Carnegie course, he received his tax bill and was infuriated by what he considered unjust charges. Ordinarily, he would have sat at home and fumed, or he would have taken it out in grousing to his neighbors. But instead, he put on his hat that night, walked into the town meeting, and blew off steam in public. As a result of that talk of indignation, the citizens of Clifton, New Jersey, urged him to run for the town council. So for weeks he went from one meeting to another, denouncing waste and municipal extravagance. There were 96 candidates in the field. When the ballots were counted, lo, Godfrey Meyer's name led all the rest. Almost overnight, he had become a public figure among the 40,000 people in his community. As a result of his talks, he made 80 times more friends in 6 weeks than he had been able to previously in 25 years. And his salary as councilman meant that he got a return of 1,000% a year on his investment in the Carnegie course. The third speaker, the head of a large national association of food manufacturers, told how he had been unable to stand up and express his ideas at meetings of a board of directors. As a result of learning to think on his feet, 2 astonishing things happened. He was soon made president of his association, and in that capacity, he was obliged to address meetings all over the United States. Excerpts from his talks were put on the Associated Press wires and printed in newspapers and trade magazines throughout the country. In 2 years, after learning to speak more effectively, he received more free publicity for his company and its products than he had been able to get previously, with $250,000 spent in direct advertising. This speaker admitted that he had formerly hesitated to telephone some of the more important business executives in Manhattan and invite them to lunch with him. But as a result of the prestige he had acquired by his talks, these same people telephoned him and invited him to lunch and apologized to him for encroaching on his time. The ability to speak is a shortcut to distinction. It puts a person in the limelight, raises one head and shoulders above the crowd, and the person who can speak acceptably is usually given credit for an ability out of all proportion to what he or she really possesses.